Last year, we installed over 50 air conditioning units in the Bedfordshire and London area, and have commissioned over 100 units in the last 4 years. I'm going to explain what an air conditioning unit really is. I'm going to explain what their strengths and weaknesses are, how they compare with other systems, where they work best, what the installation involves, and what really affects the running costs. So in the UK, most air conditioning units are actually air-to-air systems that cool the home in the summer, but can also heat the home in the winter very efficiently. And for lots of properties in the UK, it can be one of the best ways to get heating, cooling, and a better day-to-day comfort without ripping out their gas boiler. A heat pump does not create heat in the same way a gas boiler does. A gas boiler burns fuel to create heat. A heat pump works differently. It moves heat. Even when it feels cold outside, there is still usable heat energy in the outdoor air, and a heat pump is designed to capture that energy and move it into your house. This is why these systems can be so efficient. Now, without making this sound like a science lesson, here is a simple version of how it works. Inside the system is a gas. The outdoor unit sucks in air from outside and passes it over coils which contain that gas. That gas then gets compressed, and when it is compressed, the temperature rises. The hotter gas then moves the heat indoors through the indoor unit, and a fan then gently blows the warm air into the room. And after that, the cycle repeats again and again. Another big reason people like air-to-air systems is how quickly they respond. If you have a particularly hot or cold room in the house, air-to-air heat pumps condition the air directly, meaning you feel the effect within minutes. So you are not just buying a cooling system, you're getting heating and cooling in one system that runs efficiently. A lot of homeowners are no longer only thinking about how to stay warm in the winter, but also thinking about how to keep cool in the summer. Now, one question that comes up all the time is this: how is air-to-air different from air-to-water? Air-to-water heat pumps take heat from outside and transfer it into water. Air-to-air takes heat from outside and transfers it straight into the indoor air. So outside, the principle is the same. The difference is how the heat gets delivered inside the house. Air-to-air is simpler. There is no alteration to your current gas boiler setup. There is no hot water cylinder as part of the basic setup. There are no radiator upgrades. Instead, you have an outdoor unit, one or more indoor units, refrigerant pipework, drainage, and power. So the disruption is often much lower. That is why these systems can be so attractive for many properties. Neither systems are automatically better. They are just better in different situations. Air-to-air tends to make more sense in homes where flexibility, speed of response, room-by-room control, disruption, cooling, and heating are big priorities. That is because a heat pump can deliver 4 units of heat for every 1 unit of electrical input, making them very competitive with gas, as well as being more environmentally friendly and future-proof. They can be great in partial retrofit situations also. Maybe you have converted a loft, maybe you have added an extension, maybe you have built a garden room or a home office, and running the gas into those areas can be costly and disruptive. An air-to-air unit can heat and cool that space independently without you having to redesign the rest of the house. That's a huge advantage. Another reason these systems are so popular is zoning. With a lot of traditional heating systems, people heat large parts of the house whether they are using them or not. With air-to-air, each indoor unit can usually be controlled separately, so the bedroom can be set differently from your living room, and a spare room can stay off. A home office can be heated only during working hours, and that level of control vastly reduces wasted energy. So a heating system that reflects real occupancy patterns makes a lot of sense. And most units come with a presence sensor, which automatically turns off units in rooms where there are no people. These systems do not only change temperature, but they also filter air. That means while the system is operating, it is circulating air through built-in filtration. And in my experience, most homeowners notice the indoor environment feels fresher and more controlled. For people who have allergy problems and maybe too much pollen in the summer, this can be a real positive. Especially in bedrooms. A lot of people first look into air-to-air because they are struggling with overheating upstairs in the summer. Then they later realize the same system can also give them efficient heating through colder months as well. Another benefit of air-to-air systems is that they can be tied in with solar panels and battery. And I see many people saying they pay almost nothing for cooling in the summer because their solar panels offset the price. And with batteries using overnight tariffs, they can be cheaper to run in heating mode during the winter. With this, you can see why they are becoming more and more popular in the UK as an efficient heating option for homes. So who is this best for? In my opinion, air-to-air makes more sense for a few types of homeowners. Number 1, people who want both heating and cooling in one package. Number 2, people who only use certain rooms regularly and want proper zoning. Number 3, people who have a gas boiler but want to transition to electric heating. Number 4, homeowners adding a loft room, extension, garden room or office. And number 5, people who want a lower disruption installation compared with more invasive home upgrades. That does not mean it's right for every property. If someone wants a like-for-like whole house radiator replacement plus domestic hot water from one central system, air-to-water may be a better fit. But if air quality, flexibility, fast response and cooling matter, air-to-air becomes very compelling very quickly. Now let's talk about installation, because this is where a lot of people assume it's going to be far more disruptive than it really is. A typical air-to-air installation includes an outdoor unit and one or more indoor units, refrigerant pipework, drainage, and the electrical connection. The outdoor unit is positioned outside the property, either on the ground or mounted on brackets, depending on the site. The indoor unit is mounted in the room where it is needed, usually high up on the wall, although floor-mounted options do exist. A core hole is made through the wall, about 4 inches, that allows the pipework and cables to connect to the indoor and outdoor units. Compared with many wet heating upgrades, the amount of disruption is usually much lower. There's no lifting floorboards throughout the house, there's no draining and altering a radiator circuit, there's no cylinder install in the standard air-to-air setup. A single room install can often be done in a single day. Larger multi-split systems will take longer depending on the layout, pipe runs, access and complexity. Because with any heat pump, the brand matters, but the design and installation matters just as much. Unit sizing matters, indoor unit location matters, pipe run quality matters, drainage matters, commissioning matters, and if those things are not done properly, the system may still run, but it won't run as efficiently or quietly, and it won't filter the air as it should. So when people ask, what's the best brand? This is only part of the question. By the way, I made a video on what the best brands are for air conditioning in the UK, and I'll put that video in the description. A better question is this: what is the right system for your property? And is it being installed properly? Because a great unit installed badly can still give you disappointing results. Now move on to running costs, because this is what most homeowners really want to understand. If an air-to-air system is delivering 3.5 units of heat for every 1 unit of electricity it consumes, it can cost 7 pence per kilowatt hour, with more efficient units being able to give up to 5 units of heat for every 1 unit of electricity put in. And if you are only heating or cooling the rooms you are actually using, that can improve things even further. So the conversation is not only about efficiency, it's also about control. A traditional system may heat large areas whether you need them or not. An air-to-air system lets you be more selective, and in real homes that can make a big difference. As for installation cost, this will depend on the number of rooms, the brand, the mounting arrangement, pipe run, electrical work, and overall complexity of the job. A straightforward one-room system is going to cost far less, at £1,800 to £2,500 depending on the model of the unit. And a multi-room setup serving several areas in the property can be much more expensive, at £4,000 to £8,000. But one advantage of air-to-air is that it can often be done in stages. You might start with the main bedroom or living room, or a loft conversion, then later say next year. It works well for the way you live, you can expand the system. That staged approach appeals to a lot of homeowners because it lowers the barrier of entry. You do not always have to do the entire property in one go. So to bring this all together, air-to-air heat pumps are often very misunderstood in the UK. People often dismiss them as just air conditioning, when in reality they can provide efficient heating, fast response, air filtration and cooling as well. They are not the answer to every property, but in the right home and for the right usage pattern, they can be one of the smartest comfort upgrades available. If you want lower disruption, better zoning, year-round comfort and a system that fits modern living, they are absolutely worth considering. And once people understand what they actually do, they start to see the benefit of air-to-air heat pumps as a serious heating and cooling option. If you have been wondering whether an air-to-air system could work in your home, hopefully this video has given you a much clearer idea of where it fits, where it shines, and what to think about before going ahead. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.